this crap is working. We'll take this one. There we go. Give me just a second, guys. So if you guys are coming in, we are finally getting some information updated to us. They appear to be closing in on Austin Drummond. We've been going over this case quite a bit. Austin Robert Drummond, 28 years old, is accused of a quadruple homicide out in Lake County, Tennessee, where he had abandoned a baby in Dyer County, which is about 20 to 40 minutes away from where he murdered the parents, the grandmother, and the uncle of the abandoned child, the abandoned toddler, 7-month-old toddler to be exact. Her name is Weslyn. Right now, there is some major police activity. I'm being reported, not only just major police activity, but helicopters above everywhere. They're closing down intersections. This is telling me they might have a pulse on Austin right now. They may have an eye. They may have found him. They may have found a camp. Somebody may have spotted him. In all fairness, I heard he was in Missouri. I heard that they got him out of the state and got him over into Missouri. I didn't know how true that is, but right now they have a major manhunt underway in Jackson, Jackson, Tennessee. The one problem is he hasn't been seen that we know of. We've heard rumors he's out of the area, but we all know that typically in these cases, they don't really get that far. You know, either fear or, you know, they just don't ever get very far. And I think that they're almost in their way because they're so busy thinking that they're hot on their trail and that they got to be extra safe. And sometimes just jumping in the car and just hitting that highway is sometimes the best case scenario. But that's not what we're dealing with here. So let me go ahead and put this up. There's a lot of people talking about this as far as this whole new revelation of stuff. So what I've learned so far is that people are stating that there is a huge, now as you know, they've been in Jackson, Tennessee since they found the Acura. They found the pickup truck in Dyer County where the infant was found, not where the infant was found, but in the same county that the infant was abandoned in. Because right now we're dealing with 3 separate counties. If you're unfamiliar with that, we're dealing with Dyer County. Dyer County is where the child, the infant, was abandoned. Over in Lake County off of Carrington Road is where all 4 of the victims were located. And then Jackson is where they found the Audi and did the raid of the apartment. So we have 3 counties right now that are involved. I heard that law enforcement was made aware that he crossed state lines. That's what I heard yesterday. Again, I don't know how accurate that is. I keep my eyes and ears down, you know, to the pavement on any little thing. And then I try to work it and see if I can make heads or tails of it and decide whether it makes sense or doesn't make sense. And I was thinking, you know, with all these accessory after the fact charges, that it's probable that he could have fled the area. He had enough time before they identified him. They didn't really identify him for at least 24 hours after they found the bodies. And actually, I think it was more in line with 36 to 48 hours after they found the body that we learned of this Austin Drummond. I mean, we were thinking it was Cortney's husband, the man she's married to now, that doesn't seem to be very concerned that she was missing. And so a lot of people were focusing on him, and not only that, but he looked like, you know, he was rode hard and put back wet. I mean, there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, you know, naturally, we judge. He looked like somebody that could potentially do this. And I remember Mary one time said, what does one of those look like? And, you know, in all fairness, it could look like a suit and tie guy. So we shouldn't really be judging that way. But more times than not, you're typically looking for a POS, okay? Just a rotten POS. You very rarely, now it's not uncommon, but you very rarely get, you know, high society, high profile, or you just even well-to-do people that commit these crimes. They process it through. Do people still do? Yes. You know, we're not going to take the evil out of everybody, but typically the higher educated person, the less violent. I don't know what that is, what that's about, but statistically, higher education, less violence, less, you know, problems in the life. That's what they say statistically. To the degree, I'm unsure. To the degree, I'm unsure. Give me just a second. Let me find out where I'm at in this show. Just give me just a second. I gotta find something. Okay, we're back. So I wanted to make sure that I was on the right channel, and I couldn't get to it because I was on the phone that I usually use to get connected. So what we're being told by Burton Staggs is a third person charged in a connection with Tiptonville quadruple murder. We already learned about Brandon. We talked about Brandon earlier today. 2 people have been arrested in direct connection, both charged with accessory after the fact, and that's Tanaka Brown and Giovanni Thomas. But there was just something, here it is, right here. So we've got developing, here's this statement that we've got. Developing heavy law enforcement activity across multiple locations in West Tennessee. There is a significant law enforcement presence unfolding this morning in and around Union University. That's a little concerning. Union University, we have our children at universities. So this is a little uncomfortable. I don't like this animal possibly being around a university or other kids. We already see what he doesn't mind doing to university-age children, okay? So TBI agents are on the scene with Pleasant Plain Road blocked off, okay? THP and Jackson police are staged around West Jackson Baptist Church and nearby areas. Multiple helicopters are in the air. A large group of Dyer County deputies is positioned along Highway 412 near the county line. At this time, it's unclear exactly what prompted this coordinated response. However, a heavily active activity raises questions about whether it could be connected with the ongoing search for the quadruple murder suspect, Austin Drummond, who is at large. The TBI recently increased the reward to bringing him to be captured to almost $20,000, which is $17,500 right now, that is being offered to take Austin off the roads. I know he's in gangs, okay? And I know the streets. I got out of the streets with my life, thank God, by the grace of God. But I will tell you, he is not worth it. Y'all love money. You want money. You want stupid crap like rims on your car that you go into a freaking ghetto in. You live in a Cracker Shack house and drive a car that has more expensive tires on it than your house cost you. So we know you want this $17,500. And you can hate me. I don't really care. I'm not really gangbanging. I really don't care about gangbangers. I don't care if you love me, hate me. I don't care. I'm from Florida. We don't care about you punks in Tennessee. We school you real quick. You need the money. Give up the loyalty. I mean, come on, gangbangers. He's a white dude. You don't have loyalty to whiteys, okay? Kick him to the curb, call law enforcement, do not protect him, and just let him hang for this. Keep your noses out of it, collect that $17,500 and move on with your life and keep your stuff DL. Nobody cares. All we care about is getting this animal off the street. I wouldn't be getting all involved in that. Ain't nobody got to know. Law enforcement is not going to tell who they're cutting the check to. I promise you that. They don't care. They don't care. Do what's right for these people. Remember, this child here was 15 years old. There's no code for that. I know. There's no code for that. 15 years old, I know, they can be punks too. So, it's not like the baby. But he's still only 15 years old. Still a little too young for this kind of punishment for whatever they did. And $17,500. I think law enforcement, I think if they get it to $20,000, I think they're gonna hit pay dirt, because I don't know what it is about the $20K and these thugs, but I have a funny feeling that will probably get it. I think we need to come up $3,500 and they'll sell him right on out. I really truly believe they're gonna sell him out. So I don't know why a gang is protecting this guy. I don't care how high up on the food chain he is. You know what? Sometimes you got to know when to hold them and got to know when to fold them. And that right now is about that time to fold, because it ain't going to get any pretty. And you see law enforcement, they're locking everybody's ass up. Anybody that has something to do with this man, they're going to jail. They're going to jail. And trust me, it's going to cost you guys a lot more money than you think. I would take the $17,500 and kick this boy to the curb. That's all I'm saying. So we definitely have what I believe is a credible lead and a credible tip in this area, despite us hearing the rumors that he's out of the area. I truly believe, you know, because we've watched this over and over again. I mean, look at all the guys that we've chased, all the manhunts we've covered on the show. They never get really far. Even the ones that we think are going to get really, really far, they never really get very, like Danilo Cavalcante. We thought he was out of there. We thought he was out of there. And then we see this like refrigerator truck go by, nobody in the, and he even had a vehicle. And he just passed all security. We watched him because now that we knew what vehicle he had, we started looking at news reports, and sure enough, these people are out there live giving their news report, and there's Danilo Cavalcante driving a refrigerated truck right behind him. He could have gotten out of Dodge. He literally could have gotten out of Dodge, and he stayed in the area, and he ultimately got captured. Those guys, the prison escapees, they all didn't get very far. They were still in the same state that they disappeared from. Even that guy that was wanting to be pardoned by Trump, the one with all the tattoos on his face, the idiot, he was even not that far from the prison he escaped from. So with this guy being in Jackson, or potentially still being in Jackson, is it believable? Yeah, I do believe it. Because, you know, one of the things that I think we have to take into consideration is the radioactiveness of him. Thugs and people that are slinging substances, they don't want nothing to do with law enforcement. You know, they're flying under the radar. They want to do their business. They want to get in, get out. They don't want to be monkey effing with cops. They don't want any cops stepping on their toes. They don't want to be in fear of going to jail or prison for distribution and other things. This guy right here is really putting a crimp in the style of that entire organization. And I'm telling you, I know gangs, I've been affiliated with motorcycle clubs and everything else like that. There's only so much they're going to take. Okay? At some point, they're going to be asking themselves, you know, the main guy is going to be saying, look, cut him loose. Cut him loose. He is no good. We did everything we can do for him before we sink our ship. Cut him loose. And usually cutting them loose is taking care of the problem themselves or turning them over to law enforcement. And I'm going to tell you, if they take care of the problem themselves, it's going to be a really long time before they find him. Especially in Tennessee. We already see what parents can do. Can you imagine what actual criminals that have probably done this before can do? So, I don't know. He needs to be found, and he needs to be brought to justice. You know, I don't think law enforcement really cares. I don't think anybody really cares, dead or alive. I'll say it just like that. Bring him in, dead or alive. I'm fine with either one. I'm not going to lose sleep. As soon as he comes back, we're going to try him and give him the DP anyways. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts. This guy's toast. Okay? He's done. He's got no place to go. And he's a dead man walking. That's it. It would probably be, honestly, some street justice would probably be better in a situation like this. But, you know, I don't believe in violence. But hearing what happened to those kids in a court of law in a trial is not something I look forward to. I don't want this guy losing his life. I want him to pay with his life. I want him to have justice. I want him to have to go through the process of being scared every single day, every single time he is coming to that courtroom. I want him almost nauseous. And I want him shaking in his boots when they tell him, this is it. This is your final ride. This is the last place you will ever walk again. This man should have been taken off a long time ago. And on my morning commentary on my show, I told you just how I felt. I blame the parents. I absolutely blame his parents. His parents look like great people too. But I'm sorry. I don't understand how you can be happy when somebody gets out of prison that has robbed people. He's charged with attempted murder and you're smiling at him. He's literally out on bond and you're happy to be with him. I would have taken my belt off and beat the shit out of him right there because he still hadn't learned his GD lesson. This whole idea that parents have no ability to discipline their kids, I'm sorry. I'm sick of this. Discipline the crap out of your children. Bust their bottom. They talk back, pop them in the lip. Let an officer come here and tell me that's child abuse. I'll send him home with them. See how well they do. It's easier said than done, but I'm sorry. I blame his parents. I blame his parents. You know what good parents would have done? They would have made him come out. They would have said, here's your apartment. This is how much your rent is. Go out and get your ass a job. Pay the flipping bills. If I get any more shit out of you, don't come running back to me. I'll be here because I'm your father, I'm your mother. But this is it. We're done with your shit. We're not going to support this nonsense. Sink or swim. We should have done this to you a long time ago. Throw him a flipping party. What is wrong with you parents? Idiots. Now you lost your son too. And just think, mommy and daddy, you could have just been fucking parents. And maybe you could have saved everybody the problems. Everybody can say, Betty, you're being mean. Yes, I'm being mean. I'm being mean. You brought this child into this world to do and bring all this chaos and wreak havoc. And wreak havoc since he was a teenager. Maybe if you guys would have taken a belt and beat his ass, maybe we wouldn't be here. And for all you people that keep thinking, oh my gosh, let's kowtow to children. They don't deserve discipline. Oh my God, it's so abusive. Just because your parents beat the shit out of you, and it was abuse, doesn't mean disciplining your children is abuse. These parents could have disciplined this boy right here. Could have made him terrified of going to jail. Terrified! I guarantee we would have 4 people still alive today if they would have whipped his ass. I'm tired of it. Parents, it's time for you guys to step up to the plate. And you got a freaking teenager in jail? Trust me, it's you. Okay? It's you. And you may say, Betty, but I'm a single mom. It doesn't matter. If your child, if you cannot manage working and being a parent, whose fault is it? It's definitely not my fault. I mean, we're going to have some really tough, struggling conversations here. But whose fault is that? You got to find a happy balance when it comes to your kids. You cannot just allow the government and our schools to raise your children. It's too easy for them to go astray. If you are in a toxic environment, okay, you can't afford it. You're sinking your boat. You're having to work all the times. You can't manage your children because you're at work all the times trying to pay god-awful rent and stuff. Move! But it's my home. Okay, well, you got choices, don't you? Keep your home and have a future for your child in prison, or leave your home and salvage your family. Everybody wants their cake and eat it too. Life is not like that. You have choices. And you have to make the right choices. And I think these parents made poor choices for their child. And he was never held accountable. Because I can tell you, if this was me, my ass would have been beat. I wouldn't have gotten a ride home from my mommy and daddy. And I damn sure wouldn't have gotten a party coming out of prison. I would have gotten a little ass apartment, $200, and the sink or swim conversation. That's it. My parents do love me. We may not get along. There might be a lot of damage, but they love me. And they always made me accountable. Always made me accountable. So I can sit here and say, I walked a horrible life, but had it not been for them making me accountable, I would probably still be walking that horrible life. Just saying. Cut the umbilical cord. Let them stand on their own. As scary as it is being a parent, it's time. It's time. This Yahoo. But no, we need to get away from the parents and this Yahoo. We know this guy's a violent criminal. So why was he out in our society to begin with? Criminals will always be criminals. If they have an opportunity to get out of prison and continue their criminal conduct, they're going to get out of prison to continue their criminal conduct. Why? Because they're criminals. It's for the people we pay a boatload of money to, like our justice system, our court system, our probation officers, our judges, all of the bureaucrats in the courts. We pay them a pretty penny. Every city, every county, every state across this country to protect us. Not to kowtow to political correctness. Not for somebody to say, oh my God, well, he deserves an opportunity. No, he doesn't. Some people do things so violent, they don't ever deserve a second chance. And I'm sorry, attempted first-degree murder is one of those charges that I think he does not deserve to be walking around out here. He's proved to be vindictive, vengeful, and he had no problem bringing a firearm in a freaking jail. And this asshole that's so brazen to do that, some idiotic judge in Tennessee, with his head too far up his ass, decides that that's, even though his whole entire life is in jail. I mean, he clearly doesn't mind following the jail rules. Maybe we'll throw him out there with a civilized environment and see if he can follow the rules out there. Judge whoever you are, and I will find out who you are. Screw you. It's time to retire. Because your ruling cost 4 people their lives. Let's put blame where all the blame is due. It starts with him and it ends with that system. God bless you.